We are very excited about our next guest. She is actress Deborah Ayorinde. She stars as Lucky Emery in the upcoming, her name is Lucky, in the upcoming Amazon original horror series. It's called Them. Ayorinde has appeared in films like, you might have seen her in Girls Trip or How About Harriet, and the Marvel Netflix series Luke Cage. Now, Them is about a black family that moves from the Jim Crow South to an all-white Los Angeles neighborhood during the Great Migration in the 1950s. The family's new home becomes a target of threats and violence from the neighbors, along with supernatural forces. Here's a look.
She's looking right at you. Can't you see her?
Don't go down into the basement.
No.
Them will be available to stream on Friday on Amazon Prime Video. Deborah Ayorinde joins us now. First on CBS This Morning. Welcome to you, Deborah. I was so excited to talk to you because I've seen the first 3 episodes. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But my son and daughter texted me about an hour ago and said that there was an earthquake in Los Angeles. Did you by chance feel anything?
Yes, I did, and I thought I was crazy at first, and then I found out I wasn't. So yes, I felt it. I felt it.
Yeah, well, it registered a 4, but it, which sounds very small, but they said that it was, you could really feel it, that it was a little frightening. Did it scare you too?
Yeah. Everything, yes, it did. Everything. I mean, you never get used to earthquakes, so everything was shaking around me. So yeah, it was definitely.
Okay, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad everybody's okay. But boy, oh boy, let's talk about your series, because this is the thing, Deborah. Imagine me watching this. I didn't know anything about it. So when I saw the title Them, I thought it was going to be about aliens and creatures. And when I started watching it, I had to make a shift very quickly as to what was happening on the screen, because this is the thing. It's so beautifully done, but it's also so heartbreaking to watch. It still is sitting with me, and I watched it on Saturday, and I'm still sort of rattled by it. So I want to know what it was like for you to play this character. Did it get into your bones?
Yes, it did. Playing Lucky was honestly a blessing because she allowed me to uncover a lot of buried emotions and feelings that I had that I didn't even realize I had from just experiencing a lot of, the racism, the sexism, the microaggressions, the macroaggressions. Just over time, you just kind of bury it and you just show up. And you show up and you show up. And, Lucky required that I uncover all of that and use that to speak life to her story. And so it was a difficult blessing.
Yeah, hey, that's a good way to put it, because I'm thinking at the end of the day, what a great character to play, because she's a loving wife, a mother, she has good friends, but she also is dealing with these neighbors who clearly don't want you there. And so she has so many moments where she's like, oh, not today. I'm not taking this today. So what a great character for you to play as well.
Exactly. And, it just shows, I think you mentioned a beautiful thing about the fact that the Black love, the love between Lucky and Henry and the love they have for their children is a huge part of the story as well. And that, just to play a character that is so layered, it just resonates with who I am as a woman, as a Black woman. It was just such a blessing.
And let's talk about horror, too, being an effective use to talk about racism, because I never thought about this. Your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, your safe place, but also becomes a very menacing place, too.
Right. I think, so 2 things. One, racism is horrifying oftentimes.
Yes.
Person experiencing it. And I think we speak to that. But also, I think, having our home be also ground zero for a lot of the evil that happens, it speaks to how the experiences can kind of sneak in on the inside and affect, the family unit. You have to think a lot of these people that were going through this at this level at that time were experiencing all these things and still had to parent and still had to, be a good spouse or just live. And so I think just having horror be the way we explored this story, it just makes it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense.
I've read too that you experienced as yourself as a little girl being the other. I love the title, by the way, Them, because them could also apply from the black family's point of view, talking about the white neighbors who were really horrible to them, and then from the white neighbors looking at the black family who they said, we really don't want you here. But I read as a little girl that you also experienced being the other too, so I would imagine that that would trigger some things for you as well.
Yeah, it definitely did.
How were you the other, Deborah?
Being Nigerian and coming, so my family and I, we moved from London to the Bay Area when I was very young. And I remember when I first went to the school I was put in, I had a thick British accent still. I'm Nigerian, I'm dark skinned. I didn't look like any of the kids. I didn't sound like any of the kids. I was already really shy. So it was terrifying for me. And I would eat lunch in the bathroom every day. I would fake stomach aches. So my mom would take me home from school early. Until she caught onto my game and moved me to a school nearer to the house so I would feel more comfortable. But it was a really hard experience. And I felt like a fish out of water. And so just the experience of being them, you don't have to look very far in our world to see that people are really fighting to not be seen as other, and the things that they will do just to not be seen as them, it's crazy. And so I've since learned to embrace what makes me unique and what makes me different. But at the time as a kid, all you want to do is fit in. All you want to do, as a means to not be bullied, you want to fit in. So it was really, really hard.
Yeah. Hey, Deborah, it's Tony Dokoupil. While we talk about all these things that have been difficult, there's one scene that we haven't seen yet. It's not on the 4 episodes available to us that you describe as literally the hardest thing I've had to do to date. The hardest thing. What can you tell us about it?
So yes, it comes in the middle of the season, and it required every single bit of me and then some, because I wanted to make sure that I played it as authentically as possible, because I wanted anyone who had experienced even a fraction of what Lucky experiences in that scene to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel believed. But it stays with me still to this day. It stays with me, and I just really, really hope that someone who sees it, they're set free in some type of way. So. Whoa,
Deborah, I really am very intrigued, because listen, of the 3 episodes I've seen some things that just, I don't know, just sort of took me out, I have to say. So I can't imagine we're going to see something that's even worse than what I've seen so far. That's a great tease. And you should know over 2.5 million people, Tony was telling me, have already looked at the trailer, so there's interest. It's hard to watch, but I think people should watch it. It's very, very well done. Thank you, Deborah, and you're great in it. Thank you. Thank you very much.